Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Okay. So
Good
today
evening,
we
sir.
good evening. Good evening. So today we'll be doing question number 3 of ISC
Evening, sir.
2020. The question is right now on your screen. So let's see the question first. The question says you have to write a program to
Sir,
accept.
you're not audible.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was saying that today we'll be doing question number 3 of ISC 2020. And like always, the question number 3 is on strings. So we'll first have a look at the question. The question is on your screens right now. So we have to write a program to accept a sentence. That means only one sentence will be entered, which may be terminated by either a period or a comma or a question mark or an exclamation only. So they have given the constraints and we'll remain within this constraint. We will not overcomplicate the program by assuming things like what if there are multiple spaces between a word, what if there are other punctuation marks. We'll just write the program strictly to the specification. Clear? And then they say that the words are to be separated by a single blank space and are in uppercase. So they have already also said that the characters will be in uppercase. And then we are expected to do three things. First is check the validity of the accepted sentence only for the terminating character. Only for the terminating character means that the sentence must end with one of these in order to be valid. And then they are saying that we have to arrange the words in ascending order of the length. If two or more words have the same length, then we'll sort them alphabetically. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. And the last thing is that you have to display the original sentence along with the converted sentence. Now let us look at the test cases so as to understand the question better. In the first case, they are saying, as you sow, so shall you reap. It is ending with a full stop, which is valid. And they have displayed the original sentence plus, notice all the 2-character words are before the 3-character words. And in case both of them are equal, they are in alphabetical order. Is it making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay, no
sir.
doubts. Okay, next, move on to the next example. Now here what is happening is, again, the 2-character words is before the 3 is before the 4, and when they are equal, it is in alphabetical order. Right? And in the third one also the same thing is happening. And in the last one, they have given a character which was not mentioned in one of the valid characters. So they are saying that is the invalid input. So any doubts in the question itself?
No, sir.
No? Okay, so let's begin. Okay, there are many people on the stream also.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, it should be invalid input now. Why it is giving output? Given output.
Oh, oh yeah, right, exactly. Sorry. While typing out the question, I might have made the mistake. So just we'll call it invalid input. Right.
Sir, have you typed it?
What to do then? I don't like images. They are grayish in shade. I don't like that. So I just better put it in text.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And text space, less space can be messaged. There are lots of advantages of having a question in text instead of an image. Okay. So let's begin. So I'll create a file. I'll call it ISC 2020 question 3.java. And there we are. We'll have our main function. And let's begin. So the first thing is we have to take the input, and since we have to take the input, we'll import the util package. So we'll say import java.util.asterisk, and then we'll create a scanner object. The scanner in is equal to new scanner system.in, and we have to close it. So I don't like that underline below, so I'll just say that okay, close. And once it is closed, we'll proceed with the normal stuff. So what we have to do first, we have to have a variable for entering a sentence. So I'll call it string sentence. Then they want us to display the message, that is input, and then we are supposed to enter the sentence. So we'll again go to next line. We'll say system.out.println, because the sentence is being entered in the next line, and then we'll say input. So our prompt is done. And then we have to enter the sentence. So we'll say that, okay, sentence is equal to in dot next line, and this will allow us to enter any text we want. Now, once this is done, the input portion is over, we'll of course have to have an output thing. Just to save some time, I'll copy, I'll paste, and we'll just make this into output. Why is this still underlined? The value is not used. SENTENC. Okay, that we'll see later. Okay, is this clear to everyone? Now, we can write the entire program in the main, but that's not a very good practice. It's not a good idea to have a very big monolithic program which everything inside the main. We are doing object-oriented programming, so let's modularize the thing so that it's easier to understand and test the individual portions. So now what we'll do is I'll create one more class. So basically that class will be dealing with the string which the question is asking us to do. So we have to get a name. We can't use the word string because string is already there in java.lang. So I'll call it, let's say, MyString. We can call it ISC string or whatever you feel like, but I believe MyString is a slightly better name. So we have created a class. Yes. Yes, Hamza.
So why are we creating new class? We can do that in function also, no?
I just told you we don't want to do that. We want to have a proper object-oriented programming with clear-cut interface that, okay, this is for input, this is for processing, so that we can test. Because in real life, it's easier to reuse the class somewhere else. That's one advantage. Plus, another advantage is that you can test the individual things if you have a properly demarcated class and methods.
Okay, sir.
So I don't want to have one big program with everything inside the main. Though that can be done, that is what students do normally, but that's not the way it should be done. So I won't be doing it. Okay. So,
Okay, sir.
class MyString. Now within this, we'll have the data members. Now it's a more or less a rule sort of thing that, okay, data members should be private so that the data is protected from accidental changes. And we'll have public methods which will be accessing those data members. So private string, and we'll actually store the sentence. And since it is asking us to sort, so before we can sort, we have to store it in an array, and the array will store the word. So I'll take one more variable, actually an array, which will be initializing later on. So we have got two data members. Now we need to put the value in. So I'll create a constructor. I'll say MyString, and we'll pass the string. We'll call it sentence. And within this, we need to initialize this sentence with what the user is passing to us when he's initializing through the constructor. So here I'll say that, okay, this dot sentence, where this dot sentence refers to the instance variable, is equal to sentence, right? So this is done. That's the only line which is required over here. Now, if we move back to the question, the first part is we have to check for the validity of the accepted answer for the terminating character only. So we'll go over here. So let's have one more function. We'll say public. We have to return a true and false. So we'll say Boolean. And we'll say, okay, if it is valid. So idea is if it is valid, we'll return true, else we'll return false. And what is the test for validity? The last character must be one of those punctuation points given. So what we'll do, we'll quickly do it straightforward, because we need not, I mean, we can take a variable for storing the punctuation and then call the function on the punctuation, but this is just one time use. So I'm just directly writing it. So our punctuations, valid punctuations are, just let's have a look quickly. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. Dot, comma, have we given dot, comma, question mark, exclamation mark. Dot, comma, question mark, exclamation mark. So these are the characters which it should end with. So I've stored them in a string. And then I'm saying dot index. So basically, oops, sorry, hold on, Control Z. Okay, so we'll say dot index of And what we are trying to do, we'll take out one character from the string, or rather the last character from the string, and then we'll see whether the last character is one of these. If it is one of these, it is valid, otherwise it is not valid. Make sense to everyone what we are trying to achieve?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes,
we'll
sir.
say that index of sentence, and we'll take out the last character. Now, what is the last character? Dot length minus 1. So we'll say that, okay, sentence dot length, it's a method, minus 1. So we'll get the last character out. If the last character is one of these characters, it will return a position, either a 0 if it is a full stop, or a 1 if it is a comma, or a 2 if it is a question mark, or a 3 if it is an exclamation mark. So what we'll do, we'll see that. What should we check against? Anyone?
Greater than or equal to 0
Greater
Not
than,
-1 at least.
or
Yeah.
equal to 0.
greater than equal to 0, because that's what it will return. And then we'll put a semicolon over.
Yet I do not agree with the way we have framed this. We're creating a static string object every time is valid is called.
Okay, so what do you expect to do?
Just have a private static check string outside. Yeah.
Okay, this is a very nice suggestion. He's saying that, but wait a minute, we'll be calling is valid only once per string. I don't think that the overhead is justified.
Okay. Yeah. If the usage is not, yeah, if it's okay, then
It's only being called once. No point in taking a separate variable, because then computer will waste more time. Okay, so it's okay, no problem.
All right.
Not
yeah.
in this case, there's no problem.
Yes.
So is valid is done, and now we come to
Excuse me,
the
sir.
yes, Karthik.
So what did Parth brother suggest? Means
He's saying,
I
like,
haven't
he
got
actually
that.
got a bit confused. He thought that since this function will be called for each and every character of the string, instead of creating a string over here, we should initialize an instance variable with that string. But my point is that since we are calling this string only once per input, it's not a major thing. So we can create a string inside only. That's what his point is.
Mhm,
Okay, sir,
I
got
agree.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. But his point was valid if the function was being called multiple times. But in this case, we can ignore it. So we can say public. Now the next method is we have to arrange. So we'll say arrange. And in this arrange function, what we have to do, I'm not calling it sort because we are doing two things. So we are calling it arrange. And in arrange, we'll take out the words from this sentence and store it in the array, and then we'll sort the array. That's the major chunk of the answer which will be
So
written.
initializing the words array, shouldn't it be done in the constructor itself?
See, like theoretically, it might be possible that someone might create an object but may not proceed with the other option. So we'll do it when we are asked to do it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we go to void arrange. Since we have to sort, we'll create a temp variable. That is one step. And then what we have to do, please understand, if you see the question carefully, we have to get rid of the answer is not having the terminating character. Can you see that in all the cases? So first we have to get rid of the terminating character. So let's get rid of the terminating character. We'll just say that, okay, sentence is equal to, we'll take out the substring and we'll store it back in the same variable. So we'll say substring. We'll take out everything, and then what we'll do? Everything till the last but one character. And the last
So
but one
not
character
well.
is over here. Someone was trying to say something. Who was it?
So I cannot see your screen.
Maybe your net is an issue. You better follow the YouTube stream in that case.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So sentence is equal to sentence dot substring. We are taking everything from the beginning and we are stopping just before the last character. That means the last character will be stripped off. Any doubts with this line? I may put a comment. Take.
Not Python.
It's not a Python. Oh, sorry. Sorry. It's not Python, right? I like the way of informing. Okay. So we'll say that, okay, we'll put a comment over here. We'll say take everything except the last character. So this is done. Okay. Now, once we have taken out this, now we can use the traditional method, take out one character at a time, check whether it is a white space or not, place it in an array, but we'll use the easier way out. We'll just say that, okay, words is equal to sentence dot split. Once you say this, now since we are not we have to give the delimiter over here, and our delimiter is a single space. So what will happen due to this line is that our sentence will be split on space, and automatically an array will be created and returned, which will be referenced by the variable words. So now words will be an array. The 0th location will store the first word, the first location will store the second word, and so on, right? And now we are left with only one thing, and that is we have to sort this in ascending order by the word length. And if the word length is equal, that's the only, what you can say, distinguishing factor. If the word length is equal, we'll do the alphabetical sorting. So we'll use bubble sort because that's the simplest. And since the number of words is not going to be too high, we don't have any advantage of having the other efficient sort methods. Okay, so let's begin. So we'll have outer loop for controlling the number of passes. We'll call it I, int I is equal to 0, I is less than. Now number of passes are always less than the number, one less than the number of words. So we'll say I is equal to 0, I is less than word dot length. And please note, this is not a method, this is a property, and the name of the array, I've misspelled it, it's words. So I'll say words dot length minus 1, so it will run one less, and then we'll say I plus plus. Then we'll have the inner loop for checking the adjacent elements. So we'll say that, okay, int x is equal to 0, and then we'll say that, okay, x is less than words dot length minus 1 minus I. Now, please understand, even if we do not give this trailing minus I, the program is still going to work. But since when you sort in bubble sort, what happens is that the array is sorted from the rear. So there is no, once the inner loop complete once, we know that one element has reached its place. So why should we go till the end every time? So first time I is 0, we are going till the end. Next time I is 1, 1 less than the end. Next time the I is 2, so 2 less than the end. So our program will be more efficient in this because we won't be checking for all the elements. As the elements are sorted, we'll not consider them for matching. Any doubts in this portion? No?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
No,
compare.
sir.
So we'll have to sort in ascending order. So ascending order means that if the current word length is less than if the next word is smaller, we'll swap. I don't want to use else unnecessarily. We have to use else, but still. So our line of thought is that if the next word, that is, if the, okay, I plus 1 or x plus 1, it will be x plus 1. So if the next word, or rather the length of the next word, we are not sorting it alphabetically. So if the length of the next word is less than the length of the current word, then we'll do the swapping, right? So let's swap. Swapping is like we did one swapping thing yesterday also. So we'll just say temp is equal to
Words x plus 1.
words of x plus 1. And then we'll say that, okay, words of x plus 1 is equal to words of x. And then we'll say that, okay, words of x is equal to 10. This is when the word are not equal. If they are equal, we'll have our else block. And there are actually three possibilities. Either it is less than or equal to or more. So the on top we have checked for less than. Now we have to check for
Strictly more.
strictly equality. So if the lengths are equal, that means I'll just do some copy paste because this is actually too big. So I'll copy it and we'll paste it over here. And I'll replace this by equal to. So if they are equal to, then we'll come in this block. And here what we'll do, now we'll check whether they are, now we have to sort, we'll swap only if they are in alphabetical order, right? If they are not in alphabetical order, so we'll make them alphabetical order. So we'll say that, okay, if words of x plus 1, that means if the next word is more than. So please understand, this is a string.
Dot compare to.
So we have to use dot compare to. We'll say dot compare to, and we'll compare it with words of x. We'll say words of x. And once that is done, what we are missing, some bracket, 1.
So compare to returns an integer, so there should be an
Less
equality,
than
right?
0. Yeah.
Exactly. So it will be returning 0 when both of them are equal. We want to have, we swap when the first one is more. So we'll say less than 0.
Inside. I
Inside.
think.
Sorry. Yeah. And this parenthesis goes at the, is it okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And now we have to again do the swapping part, the boring part, but we can copy paste the above.
Yep.
So we'll just copy paste this. Now I am being tempted to create a function, but it's okay for the time being. Because anything which is being used more than once, ideally you should have a function for that. But anyway, that will be too much of an overhead. So this is done. And once it is sorted, let's move to the end.
Is it possible that since we know computer is smart and there is short circuit evaluation, so it's like if you have
yes, we can combine. But I'll suggest that you
Exactly.
don't combine, because please understand, an important component of the practical paper is the hard copy. It carries marks. It doesn't look nice on the printout. So I'll prefer that try to keep everything within the 80 to 100 width, so that it looks nice on the printout also.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so though we can have an and over here and we can combine this, I'm trying not to do it. Okay, so let's come over here. Now we have done almost everything. What we have to do is we'll check. So we'll say that, okay, what is the name of a variable which we, oh, first we have to create an object of a class. So we'll say MyString, and let's call it a string, and we'll say new MyString. And then through the constructor, we'll pass the sentence. So we'll say sentence. So this will create an object. This sentence will be stored in the instance variable sentence now, right? That is first step. Now we have to check for the validity. After this line, once we have initialized this, will check for the validity. We'll say that, okay, if str dot is valid. See, the main driver function is so neat due to this classes and functions. So if it is valid, what we have to do? We have to do the, sort and all. And if it is not valid, we'll have to display that message. And the message
Invalid
was
input.
invalid. We have already displayed output. So we'll just copy this line. And we'll say over here, invalid input. This is done. And now let's move on to the main part. So if the string is valid, they were asking us to print the actual sentence and then the sorted thing. So we'll say that, okay, again, we'll just copy paste. It's already there in the clipboard. So first we'll display the sentence, sentence, and then we'll sort it. The name of our function was arrange. So we'll say str dot arrange. So it will be arranged as per the requirement of the question. And once that is done, we'll again copy paste and we'll say that, okay, we want to, no, we have to store it somewhere. No, okay, it's done. Okay. So now in order to print, please understand that's an array. So we'll have to have a function. Either we take a loop and print word by word, but we can't do it over here. Why? Come on, anyone? Because the word is private. We can't access the sorted words. So we'll just go and make a display function. So we'll go over here. And okay, forget about display function. Why not just override the toString function so we can use system.out.println directly. So that's what we'll do. We'll say public string toString. Now those who are confused regarding this, please understand. If in a class I have if I override the toString function which returns a string, and if someone tries to print the object of a class, like for example, in this case, what I'm trying to do is I just want to say over here that, okay, print str. Now please understand, str is not a regular string. It's a object. So if you have a function toString in your class, that function will automatically be called and whatever is returned will be printed. So that's what we are trying to do. So we'll say public string toString, and then we'll just create the output string. We'll say that, okay, output is equal to nothing. We'll loop through all the words one by one. How to loop it? We'll say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than
Words.
dot length, and then I'll say I plus plus. And then what we need to do, we'll say that, okay, output plus is equal to, we'll add the words one by one. And now what we'll do,
Add a space.
we'll add a space, and I believe Shivesh is about
A
to talk
slash
about
p at the end.
Shivesh personal, favorite thing is coming. So we'll say return output. Now we can have a slash b, but there is a better way. I mean, you can use trim also if you want. That is meant for this purpose. So we'll use it in this case. And Shivesh, you may use your favorite slash b if you want. That means we can say, I'm just putting it as a comment, return output plus a slash b if you want to get rid of the last space. That can be done.
But which one is better talking in terms of, I don't know, performance?
Trim, obviously. Slash B doesn't work on IDEs, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you're using BlueJ, then slash b won't work. It won't cause any harm also, but yes, it won't work as well. So anyway, output.trim is a better idea in this case. Okay. So now I believe the program should function. Let's see. I should split it in two parts, and we'll have this question on this side. Actually, I'm thinking of copying, pasting the inputs one by one. So let's do it. Program compiled. It's asking for the input. So I'll just copy this input. Control C, we go over here, Control Shift V, press enter. Is the answer correct? Yes, it's working. Let's run it for the second case. Input is this. This is also working. Then let's take the third case. Be two kind others, right? This is also correct. And then we come to that invalid case, which is actually the simplest case. So I'm pretty sure it's going to work, but still, for the sake of completeness, we'll run that as well. So I'll say Control Shift Enter, and it is saying invalid output. Now, one more improvement we can make, or rather enhancement, I won't call it improvement. Remember, I once told you about that instead of this for, you can use something else?
Enhanced.
For. So how we'll use enhanced for in this case? Okay, I'll do one thing. I will leave this. Let's.
But I thought we can't use enhanced for, at least in boards, sort of a thing, right?
See, it doesn't say that it's not in the syllabus. It's just another syntax of for. And in practical, you may use it because after all, the program will run over there.
Okay. All right.
Avoid using these kind of things in the theory paper because they are probably not very well known, but still, anyway. So I'll comment this. Again, it's not Python. I'll comment out this line, and let's try to use it, or let's comment these three lines. I'll do one thing. I'll just remove this first. I'll copy from here to here. I first copy, then I comment, and let's say I want to use enhanced for over here. So if I have to use enhanced for, I'll just say
I invert.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So what is this enhance for?
I'm about to explain. Just have some patience. So if I say string word colon words, this enhanced for will do what it will do. What it will run through all the elements of this array words, and each time this variable word will assume one of the words. So first time word will be equal to words of 0, next time word will be equal to words of 1, and so on. So what will happen is that our program will look neat. This is not the compulsory part. The output is still going to remain the same like it was, but I believe this looks neat. And there are only a few cases where we actually can use it, so I'm using it over here. Right? Should we run it once more just to check?
Sure, yeah.
We should never assume anything. So I paste the input again, and there you are, you're getting the same output. So any doubts in the question you may ask now? Related with this only?
No, sir.
No.
None. Yeah.
Okay then, so I'll stop the stream now, and I think that's all for today.
So isn't there a workaround through this thing, like fluctuating screen quality?
The only thing is you upgrade your internet connection. Okay, or I mean, move to a better place in your house, or maybe move to a better place in your house. First, let me let me stop the
Excuse me,
stream,
sir.
and then we'll continue.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you please scroll down?
Okay. Let me scroll it down. Let me know when you want to stop.
Yes, yes, stop it above. That comment, that's two-string function.
Where? Acha, okay.
That two-string function.
This.
Yes.
Okay. What's your question?
So my question is that, sir, please leave that enhance for. Actually, I'm not understanding that. So can you just do it with that normal for loop?
See, listen. It's still a comment. I'm not removing it from there. So when you are writing, you comment these 3 lines and you uncomment the above. That's why I've left it as a comment. You may use whichever way you want.
Okay, I'll ask you
Okay, no
later.
problem. You run it now.
Okay.
It's not about later. I'll explain it right now. See.
Okay.
I'll just open something to scribble on. Just give me 1 minute. We'll open the general software. See, the idea is you have an array, right? So let me first create an array. And the array contains a certain number of elements. So let's say in this case, there are this many elements, right? And
Okay.
let's say this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Now, if you see this, let me arrange it. If you see the enhanced for syntax, we are saying that we want to create one more variable, the name of which is word. W-O-R-D. And the name of our array is words, right? W-O-R-D-S. So what is happening over here is that first word will be equal to this location. Once the loop is completed, this will go from here. The word will be equal to this location. Then this will be completed. Then the word will. So it will just assume one value at a time. That's it. Nothing's very complicated as such.
Okay.
And we are not involving a loop variable unnecessarily. So it's just
Yeah, that's easy.
right. So that's the point. I'm not forcing this on you. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it.
Yeah, I'll not use. Okay.
Okay, whatever your choice. That's your choice. It's not strictly mentioned in the syllabus, so I can't force you also. No? I can just suggest.
Yes, sir.
Okay then. That's
Yes.
all for today.
Okay.
So I'm closing the stream now.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.